obviously it meant a lot after such a long time.
So we have just had the pleasure of getting a real inside look into Loh Kean Yew's training today. Dean, how did you find it?
Yeah, I mean, it's very, very interesting. I think the first thing that we noticed straight away was he did an hour and a half set of the same routine, almost non-stop, and that for us was very alien to see when we contrast kind of the difference between, I'd say European, I wouldn't just say English style, but European style versus the training over here. And we were very lucky to speak to his coach Calvin throughout the whole session and pick his brains, and it was very much about building that level of consistency. And because he feels that sometimes the rallies break down, without having a longer set, the quality and the length of training just isn't there.
It was almost working on repetition, kind of being able to do it across that long length of time, and then actually once it feels like the repetition of the shots are there, it bringing the sort of the quality more in shorter sort of compact sets after that.
So can you just finish your morning session, and the theme was very much on counter-attack. Is this something that you consider a strength of yours or something you're trying to develop into your game?
So for the session just now, it's more like we start with rally.
Yeah.
So we go more of rallies, and then after quite a few rallies, we'll go with counter-attack. Because I think it's important for, us men's singles. The transition between attack and defense is very fast, so the timing of the counter-attack and the attacking, like the defense to attack to defense, the timing of that needs to be very, I wouldn't say very precise, but needs to be better, So probably something I'm working on.
And then the routine itself was actually something that we haven't really seen before. Dave, just talk us through what the focus was.
Yeah, so it was sort of a two-stage sort of rally-based routine. So we're starting with 2v1, 20 sort of rally-based shots. Now still at a good pace. But then after 20 shots, the two feeders who were side by side switched. So now they're almost in like an attacking formation. And sort of Kean Yew's goal there was to turn his defense into an attack. And that was mostly from sort of change of pace, trying to be a bit more aggressive, and then using his speed that he's known for to getting up and hitting those lines where that gap now is.
And you could see that your pace of movement very much changed between those two different styles. So very kind of controlled and laid back into kind of speed.
Yes, correct.
And that's maybe when you're building to not burn off too much energy, to kind of feel like you're a bit more smooth around the court.
More of not trying to rush too much. So you don't go speeding too much. So it's going to be, the rhythm is going to be off.
And then what we did really find was that during those 20 shots when he's rallying, he was very relaxed. Now we're not going to use the word lazy here. It's just very different to what we would experience, particularly over in England. You compare maybe to Anders and Victor, the Danes, who are very early onto everything, quite intense almost throughout any sort of routine. Here he's very sort of relaxed, taking it slightly later, but the shot quality is still there, and the big thing, he's still moving fast. He's just so quick, he's got these different levels. And then when he went for that counter-attack, he really upped it massively.
Yeah, I guess we'd probably describe it as smooth and energy saving, really. And I think about you at your best, when you're playing your best. I think everyone associates you with being so fast around the court, one of the quickest players, and your attack. Was speed something that was always very natural for you, or something that you had to really work hard towards?
Probably might be, for me myself, I would think that it's natural, but because I've never thought of myself as fast until I came out and played, and everyone is like saying I'm very quick, but I just didn't think so. So in that sense, I guess it's natural, like because it has been part of me since I started playing, right? But I actually work on it a lot, just that I don't realize that I'm playing fast.
And you would consider that your best style. So if you were playing your best style of game, you would associate it with being aggressive and quick as number one?
Yeah, I guess.
And maybe changes depending on who you're playing against sometimes as well, if you're playing someone.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it depends on the shuttle condition, the wind, everything, and the players that I'm playing. But yeah, I mean, that's the most, like my first basic style, I guess. How you call it,
Well, it's very good. So I can understand why.
Now, Dean, you had some really good chats with his coach, particularly about what he's working on, maybe in the build-up to the Olympics.
Yeah, I mean, one aspect that I was very keen to ask him about was the height of his lifts, because they were so unbelievably high. And he was very much talking about in men's singles that he's not too worried about him defending as long as he's getting that good height and he's got ready to set in defence. He feels like he can pick up the defence. Sometimes it can feel a little bit more dangerous when he's trying to lift too flat, and the players these days obviously can just jump out, and he's saying that because they're so strong with wrist and forearm, he doesn't have to actually time to set too much in defence. So it's all about opening the court, and that's what the start of that routine was very much about within those 20 shots.
And actually, when we sort of start to think of Kean Yew and his playing style, he's very fast, very aggressive, early spin net, big attack. That's how he won his world championships. But actually, playing against other players, you need to have a couple of different styles. And actually, sometimes being able to be a bit more defensive, higher lifts, slowing people down, can be really effective.
So you played the Spanish Masters early in the year, and a fantastic win for you. And you could see by your celebration that tournament particularly meant a lot to you. Why was that particularly so important?
I mean, ever since I've won the World Champs, I've never been getting any other title. So obviously it meant a lot after such a long time.
Yeah.
And also obviously every win is meaningful, right? So
yeah, sure.
Yeah, that's why the celebration was so it means a lot.
Yeah. And David, what was very interesting when we had our chat with Kean Yew afterwards, he actually almost wasn't aware of how quick he was until all the talk about him was very much speed and how fast he was. So it was almost like he was saying it was something that was quite natural, and then when he found that out, was very keen to maintain it, obviously, then improve that so he could still use that asset of his game.
Now, obviously, this routine can actually be used at any level. Yes, he is a world-class player doing this routine, but at its core, it's quite a simple, effective routine. And the Dean, obviously, we want people to go and try and do this. Anything they need to make sure they're doing when they're doing this routine?
I think we have to be careful of slow versus smooth. Yeah. And obviously, yes, it kind of at parts looked slow, but he was still very much in control of the rally. He was playing shots that allowed him to move smoothly, to get ready and be consistent with his movement. But if you actually look at his lifts, now yes, they are high, but they are to the back. That's a very important checklist when you are lifting. Lift quality, very underrated as a skill, so vitally important, particularly when you're playing singles. And then that change of pace. Yeah. But when to change pace, why we would change pace. Because even when the routine went to where he could attack, it didn't mean that he attacked the first shot that came up. Yeah. It was still very calculated. Am I on balance? Is this the right shot to go for? If it wasn't, what did he go back to? Smooth, controlled, try not to make errors, waiting for the right opportunity.
And that's actually something Kean Yew mentioned. He said it was getting used to not rushing. Even if you got that chance for the opportunity, making sure it's the right one. And if the shuttle comes back, you go again. You're not pressuring too much when it's not there.
And I guess with obviously Olympic year, playing in your second Olympics this year in Paris, it was the right time to kind of feel like you were building that level up and getting a win under your belt. And how is preparation for Olympics going? Do you change your training at all, or is it very similar to normal?
I think of course, like as time is getting lesser towards the Olympics, we will definitely increase the load a bit more, increase the load and intensity, and hopefully periodize properly. Because you can't load too much as well. And also there are other tournaments coming up. So it's not just training and then go for Olympics. It doesn't work like that. So obviously we still need to manage between training and competition, and hopefully it goes well.
And when you go to Paris, do you go a few weeks early to kind of get used to the conditions and the time difference and things like that?
Yep, I think we are going to have some training camp.
Now
Dean, I mean, you've been looking at it, and something else has really caught your eye in his game.
He just has the most incredible set of calf muscles I've ever seen. I need to make sure I go and chat to him off camera and think whether it's jumps or skipping. I think I need to find out what his secret is. But thanks very much for your time this morning. We've really appreciated it, and I'm sure our viewers will too. So thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Well, we hope you have enjoyed this video with one of the world's best players. If you like this video, please hit the like and subscribe button just to make sure you don't miss any more of our great content.